All right, I am live. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Chris. This is my channel, Barnon 11970. Thank you, as always, for taking the time to check out one of my videos. I'm making this one really quick because times are getting insane at this. Florida, or at specific parts, I'm sure. We got disconnected. I'm going to start again just in case if people didn't hear it. From what I'm understanding is supposedly some kind of mandatory thing in parts of Florida. It's not everywhere, but it seems like one of the areas that I'm in the Tampa area, that they're going to make it mandatory for people to wear face masks. Now, I'm not sure if that's employees or everyone, but I'll tell you right now, I refuse to wear one. I would like to know what federal law that they have created, because they're basically infringing on people's rights. And this is what I want to tell people. First thing I want to say is record this video, because YouTube does not like anyone that goes outside of the narrative. In other words, if you think for yourself, if you question things, they don't like you. So they're going to block this video as best as they can. So it will be demonetized. I don't care, because for me, it's not about the money, even though I've been out of work for 3 months now, which, by the way, if anybody wants to join my Patreon or send a couple of Bitcoins, you can, but you don't have to. I don't do it for the money. I do it for the truth. So please share, like, record this video. And this is what I'm going to say right off the bat before I say anything, so YouTube can't say a darn thing. I am going to consider what I'm about to say my opinion. Don't take my word for anything. I want you to research it for yourself. This is something I've been trying to explain to people for years. Do not just listen to anyone, even if something sounds right or sounds crazy. Doing your own research will actually benefit you, so I highly recommend it. Let me explain, because right now, one of the things they're saying is if this goes through, first of all, because of this shutdown, my flea market when I moved to Florida, I wanted to start a whole new career, because can't be a massage therapist these days. The flea market that I was starting my career and new life with has sold and went out of business. So that's gone. I'm also a karaoke DJ, but what they're saying now is bars, it's mandatory for supposedly all people to wear masks, and you are not allowed to stand at the bars if you want to drink, or you will get a $100 fine. That is crazy, and that is going to kill lots of jobs. Notice that places like Walmart and McDonald's and Costco and all these major chain supply stores, they don't have any close downs. They are staying in business, while the mom and pop stores are going out of business. Some of them will never return. And if you think this is accidental, well, you have that right to that opinion. But again, I'll say, please do your own research. Now, let me explain a couple of things that I've researched about masks. Now, again, I am not going to say what I say is 100% accurate, because I want to make sure YouTube doesn't make it seem like I'm spreading fear or misinformation. So I'm going to say again, do your own research. But these are the things I've come up with my own research. Number one, masks. When you wear a mask, you are now breathing in your CO2, which is your carbon dioxide. That is something the body does not need and actually will be harmful. One of the reasons why many scuba divers end up drowning, because they start inhaling too much of their CO2, which has no oxygen in it, and the people fall asleep and die. That is the maximum potential danger. Minimum is it could potentially damage your immune system or make you tired. So if you're working or driving and you're wearing a mask, you could have serious consequences, especially if you're in a place like Florida or some other very hot state where it's over 95 degrees out. People wearing masks outside could potentially collapse from heat stroke a lot faster. So that's number one. Number two, when you are wearing a mask, I am assuming you're breathing, and lots of times you're probably talking. Either one, you could potentially emit liquid from your mouth, whether it be the form of saliva or nasal drippings, which will get onto your mask, which the mask will absorb. So if you do not clean your mask on a regular basis, you could potentially grow mold and bacteria on your masks, and you will be breathing that in. Thirdly, masks are... I wanted to make sure it didn't get cut. Masks are not 100% sealed around your face, so if there are any germs, they are going to seep through, which, by the way, most of the masks that people are wearing are not medically beneficial to you because of the fact that their fibers are so large compared to any kind of germ. It's basically like using a, let's see, a chicken wire to stop a mosquito. Because remember, bacteria is microorganisms. And a lot of these masks that people are wearing, the fibers are not condensed enough to stop them. Also, when you are wearing a mask, and I see this all the time, people constantly are maneuvering their mask. A lot of people are exposing their nose, which means it's doing no good, but it is also meaning that any germs that could potentially be on your hands will be continually placed against your face as you constantly readjust your mask. So these are things that could potentially be harmful to you that most people do not seem to want to research. No media outlet will discuss, no politician ever researches, and it's putting people at risk. And unfortunately these days, people, just like the Nazis at one time, are just doing what they're told. This is going to end up being something that could potentially extremely damage this nation. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I've been talking about some kind of event and say how to prepare for things. It didn't have to be cataclysmic. It could be something as simple as a power outage. So getting your food and water and supplies, gold and silver, which I still, by the way, 100% back up, is great potential for potential risks in the world. Anything from a power outage to what we're seeing today. Now, governments are now all over the world printing money like they are going out of style. What do you think's going to happen, especially when people choose to or are forced to stay at home with their mandatory house arrest, and people are not going out and spending that money? It's not circulating. Remember the Great Depression, when people stopped borrowing money, no new money was created and placed into circulation. So people really need to start standing up for their rights, and they need to really start speaking up and not just do what you're told and comply. Because what's happening is people are turning against each other. People are being afraid of one another. When I was in the bank before, I was the only person not wearing a mask, and everybody was looking at me like there was something wrong with me. I am telling you, ladies and gentlemen, at this point, if you care about the future of you and your family and where we are headed, I would highly suggest, and of course it's just a suggestion, you can do what you wish. If you want a better world, or not what the movie 1984 represents, I would highly recommend people start informing others. Don't just sit there and tell them what to do. Give them some information and see if they are willing to do their own research. Because this world is going to be in for a lot of problems, because I can guarantee you, as much as I can guarantee, knowing how these governments work, they are going to shut things down again in the wintertime. They're going to say the pandemic has come back. They're already setting it up. And they're going to try and make mandatory vaccinations. And if you know anything about vaccinations, let's just say my opinion is I'll never get one. And if you want to know why, I highly recommend you research very deeply about what is in vaccinations. Things like mercury, for example. There's a reason why it is a potential toxin. And again, I'm saying things like potential because I am not a doctor, so I cannot 100% say it fact. Plus, YouTube doesn't like people who question authoritarianism, or authoritarianism, whatever the hell it's called. So if you want to just follow along because you're afraid, or you're quiet, or you don't want to, rock the boat, you're going to be on a boat that could potentially sink. Now, somebody like myself, I've been prepared for anything for years, so I'm not worried about any of this. Losing my businesses and everything, I'll always find a way. That's one of the reasons why I sell my Orgone pyramids, which, by the way, here in Florida, because the weather's perfect almost all year round, I can now make my Orgone pyramids all the time. I also make and sell my own organic soaps and deodorants, so check out the website. It's in the description. I sell comic books, so you could see those as well. I will always survive, but most of the people are losing their homes, have no money for anything. My next door neighbor across the street they couldn't get their car going, and they asked me for if I could take their wife to go and get their check, which I had no, and they wanted to pay me, and I told them no. Neighbors help one another. We got to start opening up, because this world is turning into crazy town, and if we don't speak up soon, freedoms are going to be taken away. And if you think it's temporary, good luck with that. Because remember, back in, I think it's 1972, correct me if I'm wrong, it's been a little while, but Richard Nixon took us off the gold standard and said it was a temporary situation. Well, it's been several decades as of now, and we are still no longer on the gold standard. So if you want to trust your governments wherever you are out throughout the world, this is what I will tell you. By their deeds you shall know them. And lots of people now are saying lots of things, but they're not doing a lot. And if we stay quiet, just like with whether the internment camps happened or not, I will leave that up to you, but there were many families, if it did exist, and I'll leave it at that, if people didn't do anything. And what did that do? Did that help people or hurt people? So my thing is, sometimes we got to get our hands dirty. We got to jump in with both feet. We have to say what makes other people uncomfortable, as long as it's the truth and you could back it up by your own research. I highly recommend it. So right now, out of 47,000 subscribers, which, by the way, since I've been making videos again, I've lost 200 subscribers. So I find that incredibly funny. YouTube is ghost banning my videos. And right now, 9 thumbs up. So I appreciate the 9 people that actually thumb this up, because if people don't start doing something, one day you're not going to have the ability to do it anymore. And you may not care about yourself or your future, but you may care about the future of humanity, because we're not being human anymore. We're being conditioned to fear one another, to not trust on each other, rat on each other, make each other feel divided and hatred. Because let me tell you something. I don't like broccoli. That does not make me a broccoli phobic. And it doesn't mean I'm going to stop somebody else from eating broccoli, but I'm allowed to not like something. And now in this world, if you, God forbid, or Allah forbid, or heaven forbid, or whatever forbid, if you don't like something, instead of having the right to your own opinion, and as long as you're not causing harm of anyone else, people now automatically call you a racist, a homophobic, and all these other hateful words that do nothing more than divide. So I would highly suggest people to recommend the book, The Art of War, and learn that since the Ming Dynasty, or even earlier than that, I don't know which dynasty it was, but this is thousands of years now, the oldest trick in the book is to divide the masses. So a smaller group of people can totally take over a larger group of people by getting people to divide and fight amongst themselves. And that's exactly what's happening now. Years ago, when I made my early videos, people called me paranoid, people called me crazy, people called me conspiracy, tinfoil hat wearing, whatever. They were name called, I got abused and everything. YouTube is blocking my videos to make it so 99% of my subscribers will never even know this video happened. And it's time we got to do something. But you know what? Not many people are calling me crazy anymore, because a lot of things I've been warning people about, although they did sound crazy and I can totally understand it, are happening now. And you think it's going to get better? You think everything's going to get turned around, that everything's going to go back to normal? Well, that depends on the people. So everybody right now around me, as you could see, I'm at Sam's Club. I'm going to go get some water and stock up on some more stuff. I don't need it, but I'm going to get it, because you get things before you need them. I'll probably be one of the few people in there not wearing a mask, because I do my own research and I don't just do what I'm told. So Anthony just did a super chat, and thank you for that, considering I've been out of work for 3 months and one of my businesses closed down and bars are not looking good right now. Just did a super chat, so thank you very much. He says we can form communities as Christians better than the Amish and be ready to help the masses before they eat at each other. First real church acts 238 to 47 on earth as in heaven. There you go. Well said. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. I hope you will share this. I hope you will spread information. I will hope you do your own research. Just don't believe everything you're told, because at the very least you can verify just to make sure information is accurate. So, it's a scary world, but I'm not scared. Don't live in fear. I view it as spectating, and you'll be fine. So, you know what to do from here. So hopefully you'll share it. Hopefully you'll record this. Hopefully you'll thumb it up. So the 20 people that thumbed it up, thank you very much. The rest of you, I hope you'll learn something. And I'll see you next time. Be safe out there, everybody. Much love to all of you.